We have quite a bit to catch up on, so let's get into it. If you aren't already, go hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode. We have daily content including movie reviews, movie news, and so much more. So hit that subscribe button to never miss a video. So for today, we're going to start off with the review of Him, which I saw last week. I'm a little behind on reviews and pretty much everything, so we're going to try to catch up in the next few days and get it done. With that being said, I know Him has gotten horrible reviews, and everybody is talking and saying, even though this wasn't directed by Jordan Peele, has Jordan Peele lost his luster? Now, honestly, I feel like you can't lose what you never had. What I feel like was a really great start, he kind of just fizzled out. Now, yes, he's only the executive producer or producer of this film. He didn't write, direct it, or have too much say in the film, or say. As a producer of the film, he does have a good amount of say in it. Again, some people argue that it depends upon the film. Some are director-driven, some are actor-driven, some are producer-driven, which is very true. Some productions, the producer has a lot of weight. Some productions, the director has a lot of weight. And some productions, the actor has a lot of weight because they are the face of the film and they're the ones who are getting the project greenlit. Now, in this particular situation, I feel like it is more of a producer-driven film. Just given the subgenre of that, it's not even really elevated horror. It's just kind of like a new style of horror, which is very much in Jordan Peele's wheelhouse. And again, it feels so much like it was trying to have this cultural statement and like a social statement, but it starts off kind of strong. And I say kind of because it even starts off kind of strange at the same time. It starts off strong and it kind of knows what it wants to be, and then by the third act, it completely falls to shambles. And again, from a technical aspect, the film really does work. I mean, you have this really crisp tone and this crisp cinematography. Like, everything feels crisp. It feels like this is going to be a great film. It doesn't feel cheaply made. It doesn't have any tropes or anything that really doesn't work for it, other than, of course, just falling apart completely in the third act and how to end this social commentary, because it was trying so hard to force feed us this social commentary about athletes and how they are pretty much almost in a ritual of putting themselves through these extreme situations and doing things that they necessarily shouldn't be doing, or these athletes are being treated a certain way. And as a society, it's not only, acceptable, but it's very much a peer pressure within that industry. And that's kind of what the whole film is about. So throughout this entire, that's pretty much subtext of the entire film. So by the time you get to that third act, it's like, how do we end it without glorifying this subtext that we've been saying is the problem the entire film, which I feel like is just kind of where it falls short. Now, as far as Jordan Peele goes, I mean, honestly, Get Out was great. He had a really strong directorial debut. Us, another fantastic film. Both that were very critically acclaimed, box office successes, but more importantly, they're both crisp films, which this is from a technical aspect in pretty much every form of ratio, with the exception of the script. Now, again, it just kind of loses in the third act. I went in expecting 50-50 from this film because I did see a lot of poor reviews and I heard a lot of bashing of it before going in. But I feel like, again, the performances are good. Marlon Wayans, to see him more in a dramatic role, in this more serious role, even though it is a horror film, you kind of get a more dramatic side of this, and he kills in this film, along with everybody else in the film. The performances aren't the issue. It's more or less just trying to kind of, because again, the entire film is very strange and out there, and that third act, it just doesn't tie it up nicely. It just kind of seems like it just didn't know how to end. The concept was there. It just, I am disappointed in this one. I was having a little higher hopes for it, but again, knowing, kind of going in, that was, again, produced by Jordan Peele, which I do want to touch up a little bit. As far as producing goes, he's produced quite a few films the past few years, and none of them really hit. He has been, again, producing a lot of films. I feel even that his third film, Nope, just didn't really work either. Like, I wasn't a fan of that one, and I feel like that's kind of the point where he stopped making. Like, I feel like, again, I know Nope came out in 2022, I think it was 21, somewhere around there. So it's still relatively new, and he hasn't made a new film in the last 3 years, which isn't that long of a time span. But at the same time, it kind of is, considering he pushed out his first 3 films in the course of, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years? I feel like every 2 or 3 years he was popping out a movie. Again, COVID kind of did have that effect that prolonged his second to his third film. But I feel like Nope just kind of felt, like it didn't really work. Again, with him producing, I feel like this feels so much like a Jordan Peele film without being a Jordan Peele film that it kind of is almost like his spiritual fourth film, because this movie is trying so hard to be us, and it almost gets there. It's just it just doesn't know how to end. And I feel like if this film had a better ending, we would have had an overall better film. Now, with that being said, we're going to wrap this up here, and we're going to give it a streaming. Because, again, I wouldn't say this movie is so god-awful, don't watch it, because you are pretty much engaged through the entire film. There are moments where it is questionable, and it's kind of... but it always kind of comes back rather quickly, and the questionable moments aren't necessarily bad moments. They're just questionable in storytelling. That isn't the weak part of the film. It just really is a third act that just doesn't know how to end, which is where this film kind of falls short. With that being said, like I said, I'm going to give this one a streaming. See it on Netflix, see it on Paramount Plus, on Amazon Prime, wherever it comes out for free. I wouldn't recommend paying to see this movie because you're going to be disappointed. That's just my take, though. What are your thoughts? Comment below. Let me know.